The best way to start El Salvador's Independence Day is with a pupusa.
This video is going to be a little different from my other videos in that to understand a culture and how a country celebrates its Independence Day, it's important to understand its past, its present, and its future. So first I'll show you a little bit about what the big activities are and what the experience was like, and then I'll go into what El Salvador's story is. First things first is get there early. We arrived at like 7 in the morning and parking was almost impossible to find. And even at 7, all the vendors were set up, pupusas were already being sold, and thankfully, the days before, the city puts up these bandstands on both sides of the road because they're so used to having thousands and thousands of people come into San Salvador to see the parade. The bandstands were super vital to crowd control, that's for sure. And it made it a lot easier for more people to see what was going on. But as you'll see later, even with all these bandstands, the people still crowded the streets and ended up making the parade way very small and in the middle, and almost every new float or new company that came by in the parade had to push the crowds back time and time again. And to start off, we had a flyby. That was the first of many flybys, including jets and planes and helicopters, you name it, even the occasional drone buzzing us in the grandstands. After traveling through most of Central America, I was really impressed that El Salvador has been doing so much effort to re-educate the people to take pride in their country and keep it cleaned up. The parade didn't start for about a good 2 hours after we got there. And it was a really good idea to bring umbrellas because even though it was probably 75 the majority of the day, and there was typically a light breeze. When the sun came out, it was easy to get burned. So if you're coming down for next year's Independence Day, make sure you bring 1, an umbrella, 2, lots of water, and sunscreen, and really good tennis shoes to walk in. But if you forget any of those things, there are tons of vendors walking up and down the street that will sell these things to you for a fairly reasonable price. So next Independence Day, if you're looking to come down and celebrate El Salvador, then check out my website, jenransat.com, to book your trip. Now, on to this beautiful, amazing country and its people. Originally, El Salvador was called Cuscatlan and was part of the Mayan Empire. But when that broke apart, there were the Pipiles, the Olmecas, the Chortits, and the Lencas. They all spoke Nahuatl, which is similar to Nahuatl that was spoken by the Mayans. The first Spanish conquistador to try and come into Cuscatlan was Pedro De Alvarado. He was sent down from New Spain, which was the current-day Mexico, to spread Spanish rule south in 1524. But unlike the other countries that thought the white foreigners were demigods of a divine race, the Papil said, "No, wait, this is our land," and drove him back. And thus started the reputation that lives on to today that Salvadorians are bravos pero nobles, and don't mess with the Indio Cuscatleco spirit. So he came back the very next year to make one more attempt at spreading New Spain south. He was successful this time and named the area El Salvador after Jesus Christ and became the very first governor. Rule went on for quite some time until Napoleon occupied Spain. This weakened Spain's rule and hold on Spanish America, and many revolts came up, especially around the capital of New Spain, central Mexico. Once the viceroy was defeated, word was sent to all the former Spanish colonies, and the Parliament of New Spain came together and changed their name to the Mexican Empire and put in an emperor of Mexico, which at that time included El Salvador. El Salvador did not want to be part of another empire and asked the U.S. to grant them statehood. But before that could happen, revolution replaced the emperor with a new Congress that was more laid back and said, we'll let the regions decide for themselves if they want to be part of the empire. So, in 1823, El Salvador chose to be part of the United States of Central America. That went on for a while, but not very smoothly. In 1832, an indigenous revolt over the land grabbing of the government proved that the people weren't happy, and the Federation dissolved in 1838. And the El Salvador Independent Republic, as we know it, was born.
And this next one is... This is their marching band. And then we'll have representatives from the corps. So each one of these flags represents of the military. From the naval to the army. And of course the Air Force above. These guys are the Delta Force, so in other words like the commandos, the go in, Navy SEALs, get the job done. Cool, the binoculars on top of their heads. How fun is that? They must be the night guys. Yeah, that's not a Coke bottle sticking out of the back of their backpack. Yeah. And I don't know, that could be a sword. I don't know. Oh look, and they even have air tanks. It must be like the scuba water retrieval part. Oh, anti-terrorism. So these are guys that have been working to put all the pandilleros and all the terrorists in the country in jail. And let me tell you, regardless of what other people say in other countries, the people of El Salvador are so happy with the fact that they're not living in fear every day of the terrorist on the corner. Wow, they have their own semi-truck? Oh look, and it's Jewish. Oh my God, there's a sniper on the truck. That's so fun. Compañía de asalto. Thank goodness he's popping blanks. Paracaidistas. So there's the parachuters. And there's an example parachuter for you. ¿Quiénes son ellos?
Híjole, no, militares, pero no sé de qué.
Yo tampoco. And here's the K-9 division of the military. Oh, they're so cute. Look at those golden retrievers. And these are the infantry troops. They're trying not to smile, but the whole first row is totally like beaming. They're like holding back their smile. Oh, look at that guy on the side. He's trying to hold it down. He can't hold it down. He's loving it. Honestly, everybody here is loving it. El Salvador has so much country pride now. I think that's something the world, especially Americans, don't understand. All the Salvadoranians that are in the U.S., when they left here, it's not because they wanted to. Everyone wants to stay in their own country. But when you're fearing for your life and for your family, you do what you have to do. And I know that's not obeying laws of the other country, but when it's a matter of life and death, you know, you hedge your bets and you take your chances. Now that El Salvador is safe, so many Salvadoranians want to come back because this place is amazing. It's like I always say, it's like Hawaii for a quarter of the price. The temperature is beautiful year-round. The flora and fauna is just extensive and gorgeous. And the people, after experiencing so much violence and so much heartache, are so humble and so grateful. I guess that's why I love it so much. This task force is called the Blue Berets, and they are the force that deals with the United Nations and other countries. That is a big old mama trailer. So this is humanitarian unity and rescue. So these are the guys that go and rescue people that are in during mudslides, earthquakes, any big natural disasters, or even when you're stuck in your car, I guess, and you've gotten in a wreck. Hey, check this out. This is an infantry brigade made up completely of women. I love it when all citizens can protect their country. I'm going to call these guys the Orange Bandits. Or at least the Orange Bandanas. Maybe Orange Force. That's what I'll call them. So did these guys come in and rebuild when things have been, like build bridges? And, oh, this one has the, look, it has the bazookas. Yeah, that's what I thought. So these guys, they build bridges, they tear down bridges and build bridges, and they survey and make sure the Army can get to where they need to go. So they look for landmines. Yep. They take down bridges and then they build new bridges. The blue uniforms create the Air Force of El Salvador. These are the guys that rule the skies. And here's your pilots. It's definitely a Top Gun moment. I have to say my thing. Oh, there are 2 women. I see 2 women in the middle. Yay! They're female pilots. My brother was a cargo pilot in the U.S. Air Force. So this is the Navy. And so, you know, El Salvador actually has a lot of shoreline. And I think it was in April when I came back, I heard that the El Salvador Navy had intercepted a big, like, barge or a big boat that was headed for the U.S. that was loaded up with drugs. So you may say, well, what do I care about this country down here? It's like, you know what? When you're neighbors, you gotta care. And you gotta take care of each other. And those are the Navy snipers. What else would a Navy sniper look like? If you gotta hide in the water, you look like the water. It's gotta be hot though, man. Speaking of heat, it is a nice and breezy 75 degrees today in September. And here is the Naval Police Force. And here's the commanders of the Naval Force. And the best way to get things done nowadays, use a jet ski. These are the military police who protect the president. And we see these guys almost every morning since he lives kind of close to us. And here is the medical force of the military that come and take care of those that are hurt or suffering. Nurses, doctors. Here come the military nurses that assist the doctors and the paramedics. This is the logistical command of the Army. They make sure all the transportation works and everybody gets to where they need to go. Takes care of the uniforms and all the equipment. And here is the Coast Guard, going to protect the waters around El Salvador. Probably the busiest guy out on the water. This is the drug enforcement lancha. This is the barge that goes out and does drug enforcement when the Navy finds people that are trying to traffic drugs up to the north. And I wanted to share with you one of my favorite things about Salvadoran culture, and that is how warm the people is. It kind of reminds me of what the South used to be, when people used to say Southern grace. When they talked about Southern grace, that just meant like everybody's really warm and welcoming, and you know, your first reaction wasn't, well, what do you want and why are you bugging me? The first reaction in the South was, how can I help you? And that is what El Salvador's culture still has. Like here, we're up on this great big bandstand, okay? And I just sat next to, this is Vilma. And, okay, I'm Blanquita. I'm as white and red as they get. I burn like none other. And Vilma sits there and shared with me her umbrella just because she was just like, oh, white girl, you gonna fry. And not thinking anything of herself. And all the other people around us, they're just, I mean, everybody makes a joke, everybody's laughing, nobody's looking to get offended, nobody's looking to, you know, be super private about what they're doing. Everybody's just happy to help. And that's one of the main things I love about El Salvador. He's doing a wheelie in his construction thing. And his forklift. And here comes the cavalry. Heading up the end of the parade. Aren't they beautiful? I've heard they use these when there's natural disasters and roads get taken out by landslides or destroyed. The horses can always get around and get to the people that are in need. Okay, now all the Salvadoranians are scooting up and taking their pics with the horses. Salvadoranians definitely are very bold. and go after what they want. Okay, well, since this is El Salvador, it's more of an interactive parade. Like, all the people started flooding in on the horses when they stopped. And it was okay for the beginning, but then, of course, one of them got really spooked because there's too many people around, and he threw his rider. And, yeah, then the rest of the crowd started commenting and saying, "Get back, they're horses, not donkeys." And they finally made their way back out. And I think that front horse is doing a lot better. The cowboys did their job and calmed him down. This is definitely an interactive parade. Whenever they stop, all the people rush up to the cars and take their selfies and have the military guys hold their kids and take shots. So this is the police academy. And all the cadets. And here is the female corps of the police academy. And here's another police academy. Here's the girls, and then comes the boys. I think these are different grados, or different brigades of the police academy. Because each one has their own little flair. This is the Army section of tactical operations. This woman just jumped on the back of a police motorcycle and started cuddling with one of them. Honestly, regardless of what the human rights groups say, the Salvadorians are in love with their police because they have finally taken the terrorists out of their country. Yeah, even the grandpas are getting in with the female police and taking pictures. hope you liked seeing a little bit of the differences between each country and how they celebrate their independence. And I know this year is going to be an amazing year for El Salvador because everything is going up. I am Jenn Ransett. Travel more, live more, be more. And if you'd like to come and spend a trip here in El Salvador, look up my website and I'll give you a great, great tour.